Today we will be looking at incarnational leadership. So, welcome. Let's get started. So, as you may know, as part of our mission statement with CCO, we place a high value on leadership and leadership development. This is great. But we're going to look at why we do this and the reasons behind our leadership development that we focus on. So, first one says, leadership ability determines the level of effectiveness for individual missionaries, campus teams, and the movement as a whole. So why do you guys think it is important for each CCO campus to have like a student leadership team? Okay, Chris?
Because the staff can't do it all. You can only reach so many people.
Co-laboring? Yeah, for sure. It's important to have leaders on campus also. So that's why we specifically have like student leadership teams or student execs, because we equip you guys and put a special emphasis on helping you guys becoming leaders on campus, so our work is more effective. And like, why do you guys think why do you think you're reading books like the 21 Indispensable Qualities of a Leader? Like, why do you think it's important for your own development? Okay. It's important to just like, even other than just like within CCO knowing your leadership, but it's important to learn basic leadership skills as it is. Like the book 7 Qualities of a Leader. What is it?
7 Habits?
7 Habits, yeah. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Reading books like that or the Indispensable Leadership book, they're important to know more about ourselves and know about what we're capable of in leadership, and know where we're most effective on campus and in our own lives. So leadership is what makes us contagious, and it helps us have more access into people's lives. Number 2. Ministry is the most leadership-intensive endeavor in the world. Positional leadership doesn't work in voluntary organizations. CCO needs to develop leadership in its purest form. Influence through character, competence, and connection. What do you guys think the difference is between influential leadership and positional leadership is?
In influential leadership, you'd probably be a leader because someone wants to follow you, but positional leadership, you'd be a leader because someone's job is to follow you.
Yeah, exactly. While I was looking at the differences between these leaderships, I came across a story, and it was about this guy in the military, and there was one commander where he was a positional leader, and he had to be, and he wasn't into it. He wasn't convicted about his work, and people didn't follow him as easily as if someone was an influential leader, where they may not be even like a positional leader or the leader of a pack, but because of who they are and because of their contagiousness and their conviction towards what they're doing, they're a natural leader within their organization or whatever. So as students and student leaders, we are very influential, and it's very much like it says at our purest form. We are leaders through example, and Jesus exemplified that perfectly within the Gospels. He was a very influential leader. He led by example, and it's very pure. So if you want to learn how to be an influential leader, just follow up with Jesus and learn more about him. So reason number 3 is it is one of the key founding elements of CCO. Building leaders for the renewal of the world. So this is basically multiplication, right? People build into you, so you become leaders, so that you can build into other people. We can only multiply if we make leaders who will invest into new leaders. So if you're influential, you're contagious, right? And that affects people, and they'll want to be leading themselves. So we're going to look at CCO's history a bit. Do you guys know what a paradigm shift is? The definition? No? Yeah, Chris?
Like a change in the way you're thinking.
Yeah. I was looking in the dictionary, and it's basically a radical change in the way of thinking. So it's like our brains, the way we think is like we have a map, and we're trying to get to a certain destination. It's like changing the map, so it's going a different way. So at first, CCO, in our first 20 years as CCO, we had a kind of an outside-in view on leadership development, which it says there. Basically, that means that we took ideas of leadership development or what other people taught, great leaders or whatever, and we used their methods within CCO and to teach others. And that's what we did for the first 20 years. But in the last few years, we had a different kind of perspective. We went from inside out, which is the idea that we really started listening to what the Lord wanted us to teach others in leadership development, and we share it with others, and we let's go through my notes here. Yeah, so the Lord has been revealing to us our leadership charism and how we could share it with others. So now we are using a more of an inside-out approach to leadership development. And as you can see, that's why we when we plan events or whatever, we ask for the word from God, and we try to see what the win is. So we're really seeing asking the Lord what He wants for us to do. And that's where this is where we tie into incarnational leadership. I'm going to skip this slide. Basically, there's the idea of a Catholic optic and the fundamentalist, which is basically the idea of we use faith and reason, where the fundamentalists use very much for either or perspective, where we use both and, which ties into incarnational leadership, which is the idea that you probably heard these words, prophetic and strategic. So CCO leadership charism is a unique fusion of both prophetic and strategic elements. And that's where the inside out comes from. We listen to what the Lord wants to tell us, which is the inside and what the Lord's telling us, and then we put into action, which is the strategic. So we're just going to look at quickly what this has to do with incarnation. So the incarnation of Christ, the prophetic is that before God said there will be a word, and He spoke the word, He breathed it, and when He breathed the word became flesh. So the idea is the prophetic says before anything was created, the word already existed. So it's a thought that God had, and then He put that thought into action. So the physical creation follows the mental creation. First, we listen to what the Lord wants, inspires us to do, and then we actually enflesh it. So if you heard the word enflesh, that's where it comes from, like the idea of incarnation. And the word's put into action, making sure we carry out His plan. Could you think of ideas where like CCO embodies incarnational leadership within any day on campus?
Just within our faith studies, like when we're like speaking to our Timothy's, like before going into a faith study, you could come up with like a prophetic, like what does this person need, and then be strategic like in the faith study and how you're ministering to them, like specifically calling them to do things like ministering to their needs.
Yeah, exactly right. And that really falls in with discipleship. Discipleship very much carries out the idea of incarnational leadership. We have our roadmap, which CCO kind of developed, and with that we could really see what the Lord wants and meet the people where they're at. And then when we do that, we strategically use a toolkit or whatever within this the roadmap and carry it out. So our events are goal-based instead of event-based. So just to kind of finish this off here, we just, instead of asking the Lord what to bless, we ask Him to show us what He's blessing. So it's the idea, it's really follows incarnational leadership. We really ask the Lord to direct us every day on campus and direct us in this movement, and through that we know that we're doing His will, and when we do that, we just flesh it and carry it out through our work. That's it. Thank you.
When you flip the switch on, is it automatically recording, or do you have to press record on it?